In the last video, we were learning about the different types of VLANs, and I've covered the default VLAN, which defaults to VLAN 1. I've covered the data VLAN, which are the VLANs you use to hook your users up to. I've covered the management VLAN, which is the VLAN that gets the IP address so that you can telnet or SSH into the switch through the management VLAN, right? And we need to cover the native VLAN and the voice VLAN. So let's talk about the native VLAN. Now, the native VLAN is used in relation to trunk ports or trunk links. So we've got two switches here. We've got VLAN 1, we've got VLAN 50, and we even have VLAN 99 over here for management. Now, what we need to do is we've set up a trunk, and the trunk is trunking VLANs 1 through 99, right? And what that means is as traffic travels across the trunk is using protocol 802.1q. And the 802.1q protocol is a trunking protocol that puts tags on the packets as they traverse the trunk. And the tags identify which packets belong to which VLAN, right? So if PC over here on VLAN 50 is talking to this other PC on VLAN 50, as those packets travel across the trunk, they're going to get a tag on them that identifies them as belonging to VLAN 50. That way the switch on the other end knows which VLAN to put those packets onto, right? So it's a tagging protocol that is a trunking protocol that is used, right, for sending VLANs across a trunk. Now, if you have a device, let's say a non-Cisco device, right, a non-Cisco switch or some type of other device that does not support 802.1q VLAN tagging, right, then what will happen is as that traffic gets to the Cisco switch will put that traffic onto the native VLAN, which if it's not configured will default to VLAN 1. And traffic destined for the native VLAN, right, which is untagged traffic, does not get a tag. It just goes across the trunk and the trunk knows to put it onto the native VLAN, right? So this untagged traffic, if you don't configure it, right, if you don't configure the native VLAN, it's going to default to VLAN 1. So, devices would know what VLAN those are going to be on. So it's good protocol to set up or configure the native VLAN. So that's what we should do right now. So what we'll do is we'll open up this switch, and I'm in privileged mode right here, and just do that, clear that out for you. And what I want to do is I need to create the native VLAN. So I'll say VLAN 80, we'll call it VLAN 80, and we'll say name native, right? And so now that we have VLAN 80, what I'm going to do is I'll exit out of here, Control C, and I'll do a Conf T to get into global config mode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure the native VLAN on the switch on port FA01, which is the port I'm using for my trunk port, right? So, and before I do that, I'm going to show you that show interfaces FA0/1, right? Show interfaces FA01, and then switch port. And if we do that, you can see that on FA01, we see that it's a trunk port, right? Administrative, and then look here, trunking native mode VLAN 1 default. So the native VLAN has not been configured, so it's defaulting to VLAN 1, just like I said. So what we're going to do is hit more, spacebar for more. We'll configure that. So we'll say conf t interface FA0/1 to get into that interface, right? Our trunking interface, and then we'll say switch port trunk, And then watch what happens if I put a question mark here, not just allowed, there's the native command. So we'll say native VLAN 80. So switch port trunk native VLAN 80, right? And that's it. I'll do a Control C, and then I'll do a show interfaces FA01 switch port again, and you can see that, let's see here if we can see it, trunking native mode VLAN 80, right? We can also do a show interfaces trunk, and it'll show here also that port FA01 trunking mode is on, 802.1q, the trunking protocol, native VLAN 80, right? So this native VLAN is for backwards compatibility or compatibility with devices that do not support 802.1q VLAN tagging, right? Now to finish this off, what we'd need to do is go into the other switch and also set up, notice the other switch sees right away native VLAN mismatch discovered with the other switch. CDP, that's great. Cisco Discovery Protocol, native VLAN mismatch, it's happening at layer 2 automatically, right? Spanning tree protocol, so it's actually discovered that already, so that's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say enable right conft VLAN 80. Notice now I'm in config VLAN mode. Now I'm going to say name native, right? Exit conft interface FA0/1 SW tab switch port trunk native VLAN 80, right? Look at that. See? Consistency restored, spanning tree, unblock, consistency port, unblocking fast Ethernet 01 on VLAN 00, consistency restored. So we were able to solve that problem. All right. So now for testing that out, I would need to send traffic across the trunk that is not 802.1q compliant, and then we could see that the trunk would send that traffic across without the 802.1q. It would go onto the native VLAN, and it would then be on VLAN 80, let's say. So, all right, in the next video, we're going to do voice VLAN, and we're going to set up a VoIP, voice over IP phone, and we're going to put that onto the voice VLAN.